Song point to this new code. That's why we step on them in a night. Got money, I feel long like road. Pod tour for the show, new flat for the growth. Surveillance on point with a new telescope, and that's why we step on them in a night. Got money, I feel long like road. Pod tour for the show, new flat for the growth. Surveillance on point with a new telescope, and some point to this new code. That's why we step on them in a night. Got money, I feel long like rope on tour for the show. New flat for the growth, surveillance on point with a new telescope. And that's why we step on them in a night. Got money, I feel long like rope on tour for the show. New flat for the growth, surveillance on point with a new telescope. And
Okay, we're live now. Up, just remove the screen. Nice, perfect. So for the record, this is it working? For the record, this is the a guide that I had for a long time. I started from the official guide of the Discord, and I tried to take my own notes, and I did it for a while, but years ago. And now I just put it out of the dust, and I already worked a bit on it, and I'm trying to make it up to date. So Firestorm, you said you would be happy to discuss with me some of the matchups.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you're far away from the mic, or you are like before? Oh no, it's fine. Good.
Is it better?
Yeah, it's good. So let's talk about matchups. Let's go right into it. What matchup do you want to talk about?
Well, I would like to go over the matchups where I actually know something, meaning probably stuff like everything with Artanis, Vorasoon, and see from there on.
Yeah. Perfect. What do we start with? Artanis?
Yes, I have already taken a look at it.
Yes.
Yeah, with Artanis. And I must say that I don't feel comfortable in like completely. How do I say this? Like a lot of things changed recently. Say for example, hand horner and stuff, and I have my own ideas, but what I'm gonna say is that I'm not gonna say 100% that I'm correct, right? Like
yes, I will
take it with a grain of salt.
I will just pretend that I take note and take into consideration what you did if I don't agree.
Yeah.
No. To be honest, I'll try to maybe for myself put it in a format that I know it's a feedback and it's not fully integrated. Yeah. I will not write maybe in the same police.
Yeah.
I will just write it as a footnote, and I will think about it, and I will integrate it when it's fully done, maybe. If I'm so feel free to say whatever, even if it's you're not sure. That's my point.
Sure, sounds good. So should we start like from top to bottom, or?
Honestly, as you want. Okay. And if people on the chat want to comment stuff, please do it in the chats. I will also take that into consideration.
So about Artanis versus Abathur, I was curious to read that you said don't overcommit to Archons. What is the reason for that, in your opinion?
Okay, this I haven't touched. I don't remember. Okay. What would be the reason? Maybe because it's a late game Guardians usually. Late game Guardians and some hosts. So I don't know. It shouldn't. I mean, the way I'm the most scared of this matchup as Artanis is if Abathur go full air. Yeah. Okay. But maybe it's this. Maybe I can precise. Or do you see any other reason?
For me, honestly, I like the Archon a lot, especially since like Mutalisks are kinda annoying, right? Like Dragoon's still very bad with it. Tempest is kinda disallowed.
But isn't Reverse just better?
Reverse is better against ground, definitely, yes. But
so maybe that's the strat. Just don't. You can do a 1-2 count versus like air, but versus Muta. But usually he won't commit to Muta, and if he commits to Muta, he'll probably convert them later. So he can force you. And maybe that was the reasoning behind. He can force you to do Archons and then convert his Muta to Guardians, and you.
That is correct. I would still say that there is a use for the Archons, even if it's just to like. You get to feedbacks, a few Vipers, you get to throw down Storms, even on the Guardians, right? It's like additional damage.
So maybe I remove the 1-2. I would put some.
Yeah.
And then don't overcommit to it.
I personally like Archons. It's true though that on the ground they don't quite manage to do the job that the Reavers do. I mean, just a fact.
Yes, they don't do they're not as good for sure.
Yeah. What I'm also a bit curious about is the Immortals. I honestly stepped away completely from doing Immortals against Everfur.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that I'm right, but I'm just curious what your experience was with it, because it's one of the matchups that I find to be very difficult.
Okay, so to be honest, this guide is a bit old. I don't know. I reread everything recently. If I see something I disagree with, I cannot tell you why. A couple more. I guess if he goes like mass, because he has nothing. I mean, the only thing unarmored he has on the ground is Ravagers, right, and Locusts technically.
Yeah, I just feel like
a couple limo is not like very binding. Couple limo is like between 2 and 5 max.
Yeah, it's not like that I think it's a bad choice. I just think Reavers or Archons are just more cost efficient in the
but
fight.
you need some kind of frontline, right?
Yeah, honestly,
and I think,
and
I don't like Honor Guards as a frontline versus the Abathur because of the roaches. So yeah, I think that was just to protect the Archons, just 1 or 2 in front.
About that, I'm actually a fan of the Honor Guards here, not as a fighting unit, but simply as a tanking unit. Yeah, and like, yes, of course, roaches do well against zealots if they're fighting one-on-one. But then again, the roaches vanish very fast themselves if there's like reavers and stuff, right? So I tend to do the phoenixes spread it out, shielded normally, right? But not a lot. Maybe, what is it, 5, like 15 total in the late game.
What? Can you repeat? You do 6 phoenixes in total?
I do like I open normally with like 2-3 honor guards and some like archons, phoenixes, whatever. But yeah, in the end I try to make like 3 times 5 honor guards.
3 times 5. Also, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's like 5 in the front, 5 in the middle, and 5 in the back. But then again, I don't do immortals just because it feels so vulnerable to like die against hosts and ravagers and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine for me.
Yeah.
The honor guard. So you feel it's better to tank than.
Yeah. I think it's more cost efficient if you can shield them.
It's more cost efficient than the immortals. Maybe it depends what type of ground he has.
Yeah, I'm especially a fan of honor guards if there's like a heavy swarm host build. I think it's really good against swarm hosts because of the locusts and yeah. I will definitely try the immortals myself. It's just my experience so far that I'm not sure. It feels like I'm always behind on money, so I try to optimize as much as I can. So far, the immortals have kind of never done the job for me. But
okay,
yeah.
fine for me. What about the rest? What about Dragoon versus Air?
Yeah, I think it's the only right call. Like
it's
Tempest
the only right call? But Tempest at some point, right?
Yeah, so about Tempest, yes, if the scenario allows it. But I think if we consider like a straight up fight in the center, I think you just die in the air. I don't see how you want to hold the air, so I'm not even sure if it's worth transitioning into the air.
At some point, Tempests are always worth it because you can stack with your allies.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. Like in the game itself, Tempest, sure. In a straight up engagement, I would prefer the Dragoons over the Tempest, which I barely ever do, but yeah, it just feels like this Everfur Air is too dominating.
What is annoying against what is annoying against the Guardians, and I think that's why the Phoenixes are good, it's that Guardians tend to attack first what they attack them. So Phoenixes and Dragoon will attack the Guardians. If you do Tempests, you can disintegrate some of them, but yeah, they will not attack them.
Yeah. Just like alone having some swarm hosts will completely invalidate the purpose of the Tempest in a straight up fight.
Yeah.
Like they shoot at fucking locusts. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else about the matchup?
No. Not really.
Let's go on because we have a lot of matchup we need to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, so about Alarak. Or like Artanis versus Alarak. I'm kind of a fan of doing Phoenix opener. Because like Alarak has nothing early on that can actually deal with Phoenixes in the sense of.
But Phoenix opener, you need to kill Alarak, right?
Yeah, you need. Yeah, hold on. Okay. Together with Salad. Sorry, I just because the Phoenixes was supplicants and vanguards. I like Phoenixes against Stalkers. Let me say it like this: against Slayers, because you actually lift more value than you cost yourself, right? Like the cost of.
What I don't like about Phoenix is that I feel they don't trade efficiently versus the Destroyers. But maybe if you spread them, maybe I can add some.
That would have been the next point. I feel against Destroyers at some point you need Archons, which is missing here.
You need some Archons.
I mean, it's an air unit that tends to clump up and it doesn't have a ton of HP, so.
Okay.
It feels
this you're probably right about it. I tend to underestimate Archons, so I will write it up. I write.
Yeah, like
but then I mean then it's really affecting the mass Tempest strategy. My strategy was like almost pure Tempest versus air. So if you add Archons, it means less Tempests.
Yeah, it's true.
In what case would you just go more Destroyers? Because what I don't like about the Storm is that what I like about the Tempest and I don't like about the Archons is that the Archons can go. If he put his Alarak in front and his Destroyers in the back, the Archons will probably not fight the Destroyers. At least not easily.
I have an opinion about that, and I think you always, against like Alarak, you always have the advantage that you can force him to one side. Meaning if you place, you can force him, the hero, to one side. Meaning if you place it correctly, you can make him walk to the left side and the right side will be open to like be attacked, the units directly, right?
So you're forcing Alarak to put his unit on one side?
No, sorry. I'm forcing Alarak, the hero, to choose one side. Like he will walk, depending on how you place the units, he will walk to one side.
Yeah.
And then he will open up his side where he can like.
Okay.
But yeah, the Dragoons have kind of the same problem. As long as Alarak is alive, the Dragoons are useless. Like they don't do any damage. So I would put both the Archons and the Dragoons into the category of either Alarak needs to die or you need to be able to force him to one side.
The Archon and the Dragoon would be in the same category?
Yeah, like in the same category as of they kind of fight the same thing, like the Destroyers mainly, and they are both useless as long as they are shooting Alarak.
Okay. So.
And I like.
How would you use Dragoon versus pure Destroyers? Yes, early you have no choice, right? Or you go straight to Tempest.
Oh. It depends a bit. So I think the Tempests are especially needed if he decides to go for more supplicants because they need to get rid of Alarak somehow, and the Dragoons cannot. So I think it's probably safer to open with the Tempests so you can get rid of Alarak and then start killing the Destroyers. with the Dragoons.
Yeah, I don't think Dragoon are actually very good versus Destroyers, to be honest. Maybe I can remove it
Yeah,
completely.
no, they're not like. Again, if you remove Alarak from the equation, right, and they're just like fighting one-on-one, I think the Dragoons win. But with Alarak in front, they get raped. So. Yeah, like the Honor
I'll put
Guards.
that more in. I'll do the Phoenix first because I think it's much more important.
Yeah.
Here, yes, a couple of Honor Guard anyway, for
Yeah,
sure.
Honor Guards, I think they're very good in the matchup. Like, they are perfect to distract, like not in masses, right? But like they're perfect to distract the Ref Walkers. They're okay-ish at distracting Alarak himself, right? Taking some direct hits. They're fine even at fighting Slayers if they're left down on the ground. They're activating the Slayers with like their Whirlwind and stuff. I wouldn't overcommit to them, but I think Honor Guards are good in the matchup, so I would definitely leave it as is. And yeah, otherwise I like it.
Okay. I lost my window doing. Yeah. Okay. Blah 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 blah. I will spot a map. Can I open it? What happened? Maybe accounts.
Oh yeah, and maybe just as a side note, I don't know, like if the match requires it, if the game requires it, and he is not like fully in the air, Reavers are also good. Like they're decently at killing Ref Walkers, and if it's needed, like it's not for me, it's not a taboo unit. I do it every now and again. If he's not like on mass destroyers or something, but that's not really something we need to write down. Yeah.
Let me think. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he doesn't really go ground usually.
Yeah, no, it's an edge case.
And I don't know. Because what I don't like about River is that it's not fast at killing the Alarak hero himself. It's not that good versus... What is good versus Wrathwalkers is killing the rest of the army very fast. That's really what's good versus Wrathwalkers. I mean, something to tank and kill the rest of the army very fast. I mean, I wouldn't say that Rivers are good versus Wrathwalkers. They are good if you can reach them, but everything that can reach them are good.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Artenis.
Artenis, Master Goons into Tempest. So I have a strong opinion about Phoenixes in the sense of I think in a straight up engagement, Mass Phoenixes beats Mass Dragoons.
Really?
Meaning, yeah, I've seen it at least.
I've seen the opposite. That's why I wrote it like this.
Really? Okay,
yeah,
that's funny. Maybe we need to test this out. But what I'm personally doing is if I see, like if I am on Dragoons, right, and the enemy also has Dragoons, and he starts adding Phoenixes, I mirror him enough to stop him from lifting my units. Right?
Can you repeat that? I was typing, I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, sure. If I'm on Dragoons and he starts to do Phoenixes, I do enough Phoenixes so he doesn't get to lift my Dragoons, like as a blocking, right?
You make enough Phoenixes so he cannot
so
lift.
He doesn't. He cannot lift my Dragoons, so he doesn't get too close to my Dragoons. Like his Phoenixes. I make Phoenixes
but
myself.
You were talking about why Phoenixes are better.
Yeah, I think just because they can.
And now you're telling me, hey, I have Dragoons, so I'm not sure I understand. You use both.
I think Mass Phoenix. I'm not doing Mass Phoenixes because I think it loses.
Okay.
But especially since it's like bad versatility wise, right? Like if you're pushing, if you're getting pushed, whatever, Dragoons are way better. But I think if he can straight up engage your dragoons and lift like all the dragoons up, I think the phoenixes are winning the fight. So what I
Really?
do if I see,
But they don't.
Yeah.
They cannot kill it because one phoenix can lift 2 dragoons. No way, one phoenix kill 2 dragoons.
No. But
I mean,
they
the
kill
dragon will
one
go back
after
on the
another.
ground and kill the phoenix after.
It will drop again. I'll have to test on this again. I thought that the phoenixes will overthrow it, but yeah. I mean, I personally add phoenixes when I see phoenixes
You add phoenixes when you see phoenixes.
to like make him not be able to lift up my dragoons.
Because if you add phoenix, it won't lift the dragoon.
Yeah, like he will fight he needs to kill the phoenix first before he can kill the dragoons.
Okay.
Like fly close enough.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's fine. I'll have to test it a bit more.
Do you need to test a bit more?
Yeah, I will test it in the tutorial for myself and tell you again afterwards.
Okay, so I'll write a maybe. So you're not sure what you're saying.
It's been a long time ago, but
Phoenixes.
it's something I can also kind of test while we are talking. It's not like
Phoenixes. Hello Destiny, hello Music Boy, and yeah, I could share with that, but it's not really up to date. But I can share it. Okay, I'll put it on my Discord. But take it with a grain of salt. It's not always nice. It's probably more up to date than the one that you can find on Discord that is very old. But that's it. Okay, Dehaka?
Yeah. All right. So I'm not sure if you ever have seen me play this recently, but I have a very weird strategy to say. So if the other matchups allow it, I like to stay tier 2 and actually open with phoenixes. Because the funny thing is, if you don't invest the money into like tier 3 and a Tempest and Disintegration, right, which he will also eat, like devour, you actually beat any type of like Hydra or Mutas for like a long time, and he needs to actually get Tyrannos himself.
Even if himself he gets tasty one.
Sorry?
Even if he hey, the music boy, sure. Feel free to say something anytime. I'm not sure we discuss Nova specifically, but we could later, and we will have some versus Nova. So feel free to say your opinion. So, are you sure that even if because for Azun, sorry, Dehaka first might stay tier 1 and do Massager. I mean Massager at least.
It
10.
wins. It wins. Phoenix.
It wins.
I've seen
a tier 1 Dehaka.
Yeah, I played against Skippy before as well. I've played in the tournament games.
Okay.
So yeah, that's I really liked. And again, phoenixes don't fight well into leagues and whatnot, so only really if it's possible. I like to open phoenixes to force him into Tyranno, and then you obviously transition to like Salad Tempest one.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But the main reason for this, in my opinion, is that especially against the Mutalisks, there's a threshold, right? Where if you manage to kill them before they spawn again, you win very hard, and if you don't manage to do it, you lose very hard. So the money you save by not going tier 3 is actually huge in the matchup, in my opinion. But I can show you sometime if you want.
I'm writing all those things. Do you see my screen? Do you watch my stream?
Yeah, I'm watching.
Okay. I'm writing all those things that come to my mind.
Yes, sure.
And you can comment on that, of course. You won't find the Discord that way, but I think it's just written. There's links down. I don't know, where is it. Maybe in About Me. Ah, yeah, you cannot see while I'm live. I will give you the Discord. Found it. Thank you. I'll put it anyway. Okay, let's go. Let's go on. So we finish with Aka, or?
Yeah. The rest I agree with, like Reavers versus Hydra host and stuff. Ooh. You got a new sub.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you, the music guy. Oh, you are already subscribed. Nice. Thank you very much. So let's go on.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, against Phoenix, I 100% agree. It's like I don't think there's anything else that's.
The question that we should discuss is how many Phoenixes, because to me it's a lot. No. To me it's not a lot.
Yeah.
I use them only for
the
the Guardian Shell, basically.
Shield. Yes, exactly.
Guardian Shield. I'll write
exactly
that.
same. I'm not sure if it's correct, but it's also what I'm doing. Yes.
Guardian Shell. And do you use Archon at some point in the air? No.
I think it's necessary. Yes.
It's necessary. So at some point into. Oh, but. But versus my setup, the rivers are better, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, at some point, I would say I first add Archons if there's not like a shit ton yet. If he's like doing, let's say, a mix of Adept, Carrier, Scouts, I don't add Reavers yet. But if he like really commits to the ground, then yes, I add Reavers.
Can you repeat that? What do you do first?
If he does something like Adept and Carrier and Scouts, right? Like if he also has air, then I prefer the Archons because they can also damage the air. But if he like really commits to the ground, like mass Adepts, then yes, Reavers are better.
But don't you think that with if there is only a few Adepts, you can just get over it with Phoenixes?
Yes. Yes. Should be fine. Indeed.
I'll keep it like this, I think.
Yeah, sure.
If it's fine for you. Okay. Next matchup? Or
Honor. Yeah.
Honor.
This is the one that before the previous patch, I used to only straight up do Mass Tempest, nothing else. Not some shielded Phoenixes at some point, but like not early on. Because you could disintegrate every unit, and every unit he had was more expensive than the Tempest. Except,
yes,
of
but
course,
now
the Reaper.
tier 3 Galleons are a thing, right?
Yes.
And the BC also.
The BC is, I still think I would do Tempest against that. But the main problem is that I'm not sure how the Wraith is currently doing against Tempest because it's only 330 now, not like 370 anymore. Or whatever it was before. So I'm gonna say that I'm currently still playing Mass Tempest, but it might be needed to do this again with like Phoenix Dragoon into Tempest. So I wouldn't change this. I like it the way it is written out, but I'm currently not playing it.
No, I'm not doing Dragoon actually. As it's written right now, I'm not doing Dragoon. Is it?
Okay.
You would add some?
I'm not sure if it's required against Wraiths now.
I mean,
maybe not.
I do Dragoon if it's needed, but if not, I stay in the air because I feel First of all, I don't have a good value to trade on the ground versus Horner because my Dragoon alone are not strong enough. So I need to add Zealots, and if I do, or other stuff, and if I do, I commit to the ground, and he can always fuck me later.
Wait, you add Zealots because?
No, I mean, I feel that if I do only Dragoon, his ground will beat me.
You have Phoenixes, right, to lift the stuff.
Yeah, so you use a bit of both versus that.
Yeah. maybe. Like I used to do like with the all hand honor prizes, right? I used to do like Phoenix Dragoon mix into Tempest.
Okay. What's the proportion of Dragoon you're using?
I open with Phoenixes, then I add Dragoons because you shouldn't overcommit to like Phoenixes because of like the splash. I'd say it's probably about the same before I go into Tempest. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say it's probably about equal before I go into Tempest.
Okay. Archon only if needed.
Yeah. Very late game, I'm not sure even like that's worth it, but definitely against Reapers. If he really commits to like mass Reapers, you're just losing without Archons. But I mean that's just trolling.
Yeah, but no, sometimes the mass Reaper strat, I've seen it.
Yeah,
but
I've
usually
seen it too.
you deal with it with the Phoenixes.
Yeah, it works for a decent time, but it's at some point, yeah. Yeah, I agree with the rest also with like the close fast and everything. Yeah.
This is also the BC, so like, okay, let's go on.
Yeah.
Kerrigan, Carax.
Yes, I think shouldn't Tempest. So I personally play this differently. I open Tempest because it actually beats Mirages early on, as stupid as it sounds.
Really?
And yeah.
I feel that Phoenixes beat Mirages also early game.
It's possible. Yeah.
But Tempest first, I cannot see it winning. Sorry.
Really?
I mean, you need tier 3.
Oh yeah. Wait. Let me actually start out the game to like check certain things while we're talking. Even though if it's just for like the sake of stacking potential, it's like I prefer opening with Tempest instead of Phoenixes, but I can see the opposite to also work, I guess. I don't like to overcommit to Phoenixes because of the orbital strike. And I think they perform very bad against carriers. So I prefer a higher Tempest count and a low Phoenix count. But yeah, I mean, if it's like very high amounts of Mirages, then I mean, yes, you can mirror it with high amounts of Phoenixes. I don't know.
Maybe Archons, Mass Mirage, and Zealots.
I'm not sure about the Zealots versus Annihilators. I probably would just stay on like Phoenixes to lift them, or like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about those Zealot neither.
Yeah, I think he beats us on the ground, like our tennis. So
maybe Archons versus Mass Mirage. And Archons, at what point you would add them?
Yeah, I think so.
Very late game? Very late game? Or,
Yeah. Even if it's just for the storm to activate the shield. I don't think you will probably be able to fight him, because again, if he goes a few zealots, he will just rape your Archon most likely. But I think it's okay to add Archons later on, maybe even required, yeah. Especially on like higher Mirage count. If it's like higher carrier count, then don't. Then you need everything you can in Tempest. But yeah,
Destiny, you think that Phoenix are a waste of time? It's funny because Mirage is perceived as one of the best Phoenix in the game, but at least early game, I feel that the Artanis Phoenix are trades well versus Mirages. At least evenly, I would say. I don't know
because
why.
of the Guardian Shell. You have a decent amount of Guardian Shell early on.
But he has the invulnerability, which is kind of similar. Which is kind of similar than Guardian Shell when you think about it.
I prefer the Guardian Shell early on. The thing is that you don't have enough Guardian Shell to shield all Phoenixes, but he has, like, his invulnerability applies to all Mirages, right? So it scales better.
But what do you think about what Destiny said? Do you think we can also go light on Phoenix?
Yeah, I'm really I don't know. I agree with him, not in the sense of that it's a waste, but I really stay on low Phoenix counts, yes.
Okay. I'll be more general so that I don't.
Just say Phoenixes, yeah.
I don't take a decision now if it has to be a lot or not.
Sure. I wouldn't say it's like a waste. I still do Phoenixes for the Guardian shells, but I don't rely on them to fight.
Okay. Is it work? Okay, let's go. Kerrigan,
yes, also very interesting one. So, I agree with the first two. Well, I also open salads and then how do I say this? I think if he goes to straight Ultralisk, which is a kind of a strategy that some people do, right? Like mass ultras against Artanis. I think you need to straight up go into mass Reaver if you want to be able to beat it.
You would go Reverse versus Ultra and not Tempest.
Mm-hmm.
If I see Ultra, I go Tempest. I mean, I don't see any reason to try to. And I don't know. To me, I'm not sure I would. Reavers need a front line if you want them to perform.
Yeah, salads spread it. So I guess you can evade the Ultra fight.
Okay.
I think it's a question of strategy if you want to let him run under you or if you're trying to fight him. Depends on the game. I know that you can fight him with Reavers. But I mean, if it doesn't hurt your next wave, right, for example, and he goes mass ultras, then yes, you can go Tempest. I agree.
So I wrote it like this. If you need it for the other wave, because it always depends on the other wave. Sometimes you don't want to checkmate yourself because of the leaks or whatever.
Yeah.
If exactly. You need it you can go Reverse versus Ultra. And then with that, you will use Zealots or as a front line or what?
Shielded Zealots as like...
Because Immortals are just vulnerable to links?
Yes, not only that, Immortals absolutely suck against the eggs because they're only massive and not
About
armored.
What?
The respawn egg of the Ultra, they are not armored, so the Immortals do almost no damage. Okay. Which is the main reason why I prefer Reaver Honor Guard over like Immortal Dragoon or something like that.
Okay, is it still big enough for you to read? I changed the... Yeah,
it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, let's go on.
Alright, Mengsk. Wow. Couple Honor Guard into Mass Tempest.
Yeah, this is I haven't tested this strat versus maybe very good player or in-house, but I'm not sure it works. But I feel it could, right? Because Tempest could beat Furies.
Yeah,
but
no,
you need Phoenix. You need Phoenix to tank maybe.
Yeah, I play it like this. I've been criticized by many people before, but I tend to like I haven't played the matchup in a long time. I'm gonna agree, but I used to like rush Tempest, and yes, with like Zealots on the ground against the troopers, right? And Phoenixes to tank against potential Sky Fury and to lift up like an Aegis Guard maybe that is trying to tank for the against the Zealots. Just like Phoenixes to clear the way, to tank, and the Zealots run in, kill all troopers, and Tempest to do the damage.
And if you choose to go the... sorry, yes, finish.
Yeah, I like that strategy. I like the build.
And I think I'm thinking out loud right now. Do you think that if you don't want to go the Tempest way because of other stuff, you could go just Reverse?
Yeah, I think Reverse Salad works.
Yes, I think it works too.
And you can still, or probably should still add like a Phoenix or two to like lift Royal Guards, like Aegis Guards especially.
Honor Guards.
Like, I often do if I do this right, I do some Phoenixes in the back, like 3-4 Phoenixes in the back, and then they fly in once the small units, or if I'm too lazy to micro at least, once the small units are like killed, and they lift up some Aegis Guard maybe, or whatever is left on the ground.
Okay. Yeah, I think you can go the ground route. I mean, late game, Rivers beats anything on the ground. The only thing that is annoying is the tanks, but they siege really fast and they have long range. So I'm not 100% sure, but I would say that Rivers beat tanks.
I honestly, I wouldn't bet on it, but I remember a very, very frustrating in-house game where I lost with Reavers against tanks.
Okay.
Especially because they outstacked me. And
what I really don't like about this strat, to be honest, is that if I'm Max and I'm fighting Artanis, I might go POA. I might go POA, and that's very hard to counter.
Yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah, so POA, POA is actually the biggest weakness of the above strategy as well, because Tempests don't do that great against POA because of how they clump up, right? I actually add Dragoons against POA. What do you feel about that?
But I'm not sure I would recommend the ground strategy anymore now.
I still think I think Dragoons are needed in both cases. But yeah, like once POA are out, you want at least one Tempest to like disintegrate it. Also in the bottom build.
Even two maybe, because if you can disintegrate 2 times, that's a win.
Sure. But yeah, I would add like Dragooners POA on both strategies, and I would say at least some Tempest versus POA on the bottom one as well.
I'm not sure I would want to keep the bottom one, to be honest, but I will keep it. But maybe I'll put it in smaller.
I don't play it myself, but I think it's okay.
Okay. Nova.
Nova.
Wake up, music master.
Let's hope he's still here. Let me from him. Oh, he is. Easy matchup for Nova.
Yeah, I would say so too.
I'm gonna
agree with that. Can't do much. So the couple don't have to be very, very spreaded. I haven't because of the shotgun. They are just here to take the shot and to force the shotgun, because if you don't have honor guard, she can stay on snipe. Fast Rivers is Marines, but the problem is the holo decoy. And here I only see Tempests. I don't think Argents have the counter to holo decoy.
I'm not sure how very late game Mass Reavers would do, like with some salads, right? As distraction. Because Reavers are splash and holos aren't, so the longer it goes, the better it should become, but...
What?
The longer the game goes on... Yeah, so the longer the game goes on, it feels like, at least in theory, Reavers should become better than holo decoys, because holo decoys will clump up and Reavers do splash.
Holo decoy don't really clump up, and they can be microed, and
I mean,
it's
yes,
not a clump up unit.
No, okay, it's not a clump up unit, but it's a melee unit, right? So it still tends to, like, if you want to fight, there's only so many places where the holo decoy can go, right? Like, it needs to be at the front line of the enemy. So that at some point...
No, you micro the holo decoy into the reverse line.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
I mean, if you don't micro your decoy, they are not really a threat, to be honest. But
okay,
the problem is that if they are microed into the reverse, they suck. I mean, they really
kill. Yeah. You need to micro them for sure.
Maybe more holo. What do you do versus decoy? More holo and Tempest?
I mean, as soon as you go the Tempest route, you give up the fight, like you give up to ever win on the ground. Which then opens the question: can you beat the Marines in the air?
Not without Reavers.
Yeah, that's the point. But the Reavers are dealt with the Holos, so is it even worth to go Tempest then? It's kind of the question. Or are just trying to get the best out of the ground?
Yeah, there is no magical solution, I think. We cannot find a solution for our tennis. But what do you do if you see mass Reavers? If you see mass Holo, what do you do?
I mean, if he opens Holo, I go Tempest 100% because he wasted a lot of money and not Marines. And Tempest win against a few Marines early on if he wasted so much.
Mm-hmm. Do you had Honor Guards?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, okay, hold on. I add Honor Guards if there's as soon as there's Marines. Yes.
If there is what?
If there's Marines to tank a bit.
Yeah, but for do you use Honor Guard versus Holo?
No, they get slashed up actually.
Okay.
I mean, I do if I stay on the ground and fight, like with Reavers.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a distraction. But like straight up, like Honor Guards lose to mass Holos, which is yeah.
Okay, let me read the messages. Late game, Holo versus Razor, stuck at the very maximum in the middle. I haven't experienced Reavers pushing Nova back. Careful Nova placement is unbeatable. Yeah, I agree. And also careful Nova micro, because if he micro the Reavers, the Holo, it's lost. Late game Tempest can make a small push if made surprisingly, but well placed Goliath demolish them too. I think the matchup only chance of Artemis is the power of surprise, saving a few thousand and try a shenanigans. Yeah. I won't write about shenanigans, but it can work. Banking money and surprise him. What maybe people, if you the standard the standard opener for Nova is Marines into Holo. Can we encourage him to go another way?
Can I encourage him to stay on mass Marines by going air only? If that's better for like
because
your teammates, for example.
Mass Phoenix, maybe Mass Phoenix could work.
Yeah, I still think Mass Phoenix has potential, but I'm not sure that
because
I
last time I tested it, Mass Phoenix versus Nova Marines.
Okay.
Mass Phoenix were, I don't remember if it was barely losing or barely winning, but it was like very, very close.
Yes, it is fine. It is fine. Yeah,
okay,
you can add Ravens.
That.
It's Ravens are like the bomb, right? It's disgusting.
Mass Phoenix Raven. That's a point. But it's not that good. But yeah, some missiles can. If you do too many, yes, that's true. But we can force air. I mean, if you do Mass Phoenix, he won't do Holo, and that's already a win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if your teammates especially can help you better against like Marines, for example, then you go air. If they can help you better against Holos, you go ground. It's like, I think it's a matchup that you need help with.
Yeah, it's a matchup you need help with. But what's really annoying with the Phoenix is that you cannot kill Nova herself, but
sure, but do you really care like that?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's annoying, but the longer it goes, the less relevant, I think.
Forcing Nova to Raven is 100% loss. If she has enough unit to cover, but you would go full air. I mean, you go Mass Phoenixes versus the Marines, but if she answer with Raven, you just add the Tempest. You just want to not fight on the ground. And that's my argument for Music Master. What do you think about that? Because of course, Mass Raven will beat Mass Mass Phoenixes at some point, at least at some point, when you can like enough to one shot the Phoenix with a. But against Mass Phoenix, I would still go Marines and a few Goliath with one Raven behind. Yeah, and you're probably right. And you're probably right. But it's a much closer fight than other stuff because versus random people on the matchup you can do well, but versus a good Nova that is microing the holo into your rivers, it's crazy good. It's just changed everything. Can always go holo because I know they demolish ground. Yeah, but my point is like maybe don't do any ground at all. And if it's a fair fight or if you're slightly disadvantaged, maybe it's enough. I don't know. So what do you say? What do you say, Musler? You think Mass Phoenix could be tried or not? I might let it here anyway, but I'm just wanted to get your opinion.
I think it's viable to try it. Yes.
Viable to try. It can be a better tactic than going full ground. Okay, so we'll let this like this. I'll test it. Artemis versus Rainer. Oh, here you told me about the Tempest opener, right?
Sorry? Yes, exactly. Like, or let's call it air opener. It doesn't have to be Tempest. I think Phoenix is fine. Phoenix like with salads. But you might need to micro the Phoenixes to lift a bit.
To lift
but yeah, what? To lift like fire bats especially. So the salads can fight like Marines and stuff. I honestly think Tempest still over Phoenix opener, but air opener in general, yeah. Like I would love to show it to you at some point, but yeah, I really stand behind that tactic. I tried it many times and it worked very well.
In my codes, if I don't write a maybe and I make or, that's a higher with a question mark. That's a higher score of trust. So, you get credit for that. Okay. Versus Statman. Honor Brothers is a shit ton of things, but if you do too many, you're vulnerable to lings, right? Or are you? Not sure.
I actually play. I think I actually straight up play Tempest Honor Guard mainly, and then some Archons, yeah, added in. Phoenix, I mean,
you don't do Phoenixes.
Yeah, I do Phoenixes, but not like as a damage dealing source, just maybe to tank against some Corruptors and whatnot.
Yeah, Corruptors do bonus damage versus the lights, so.
Sure, but I guess it's better than being hit with the splash against Mass Tempest later on to have like 2 free Phoenixes in front. No. I don't know. Yeah, I really don't do a lot of Phoenixes. I prefer Tempest here.
But so you're fighting Mass Hydra and you're fighting them with Honor Guards only.
Yeah, yeah, sorry. Into Reavers. Yeah.
Actually, no, but Reavers, I'm not sure I agree with that because the Lings are too good versus Reavers. They will not reach anything except Lings. You can flute the Reavers with Lings.
What is too good?
Reavers. The Lings. Statman Lings.
Statman Lings. Yeah, the Honor Guards should kind of deal with that, no?
Yeah, but at some point, if he really swarms you with Link's Bane.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen it then, I say, but. I mean, I'm okay with that. So you're using Phoenixes to lift up the Hydras?
No. No, I don't think so. Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember, to be honest. No, I
I
tried
think we can
to
leave it
counter
as
the
a.
reverse, the Hydra with honor guards, and I don't know. I feel at some point the honor guards, the Hydra lose tempo versus the Tempest.
Mm. Yeah, no, I agree.
Um,
I
But yeah, maybe
see true.
reverse if he, because there is also infestators. That's pretty good. Setman can use infestator versus you,
Yeah,
and that's
Infestor is
at some point
actually
I
dangerous.
sometimes use. Maybe I should write that I sometimes use Archon reverse.
Mm. Yeah, I would put Archon / Reavers versus Mars Hydra Infest. You already have written Archons above.
Ah, yeah, it's my side interest. Yeah, Archons are probably better, I think, than the reverse actually, because they're less vulnerable to Link's Banes, I would say, and they help you versus the air somehow. Yeah, the fact that what Phoenixes help here is that they trigger corruptors, whereas Tempest triggers Hydra, and maybe that's why it's helping.
Sure. I mean, I haven't tried it. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, so what can we say for sure here?
That honor guards are good and that Tempest are needed.
What?
And I guess I would agree that like honor guards and Tempest are needed. I'm not sure about how many Phoenixes to add. But I can see Phoenixes be okay, I guess. And yeah.
And Archons better than River? Could you go with that? Oops. I mean, I've write Archons and not Rivers. Is it fine for you? Or you should
the problem
still
with Archons,
want...
for me, the problem with Archons is the Ultras. Once
What?
if he adds Ultralisks as frontline, I think like the Archons are just dying without ever doing anything.
Yeah.
The Reavers can kind of fight the Ultralisks.
Yes.
So that would be my argument against Archons for Reavers, but if he doesn't do Ultras, then I mean Archons are fine again. I don't know, it's tricky.
I use a lot of I know I use a lot of Phoenix, but maybe I need to try again.
No, I mean I'm completely open to the idea. I never did it, not a single time in my life, so I cannot say if it doesn't work. It just didn't ever occur to me that it could be helpful, so I never did it.
I will write it differently then.
Yeah, sure. I have a question.
And maybe reverse.
Yeah. Is it fine for you if we continue later, or you continue with the chat on like some other matchups? Because my mother's gonna kill me if I'm not coming for dinner.
Okay, sure.
I'll be back in like 15-20 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Worst case scenario, I'm not. I mean, if they're not willing to discuss worst case scenario, I'm not here anymore. But we can still.
Yeah. Then we can continue another time.
Okay. See you.
All right. See ya. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Are there people here watching? I don't even know. Yeah, there are people watching. Do you guys want to discuss about some matchup? You want to do Nova? You want to do? Poliko Polki is you, Music Master? I don't care. I think Destiny you play Nova 2, right? I can only spectate at the moment. Yeah, but can you... but you mean... could you discuss by chat? I'm not asking... You want to do Nova? Okay, just tell me what we discuss, and we can go. I can discuss alone. Okay, I'll do Nova. I'll see how it goes. I will talk a bit about the matchups. And please feel free to say stuff. if you have any information. You're playing right now. Okay. Yeah, I'll do it alone. And if I get too bored, I think it was, for me, it was a bit dynamic to use someone to discuss with. I will try alone. And yeah, let's see how it goes. So Nova versus Abathur. So very difficult matchup. There is several ways to play it, and to me, I've seen good players do a variety of very different builds. So there is the Nova who goes. There is two types of Nova. There are Nova who goes more air and who use heavy mudas, and there are Nova who goes more ground heavy at first, at least, and they go like Roach, Ravagers, and Queens. That matchup is cursed through that. Yes. So first of all, it depends what you're fighting. But I said, to me, open with couple ghosts is really a safe bet because it works with both air and ground. And as you're scared about a sudden air transition, I mean, if you bank a bit and you go mass muta, it will like kill you. So to me, opening with ghosts is like a safety move here. But you could do other thing. You could do Marauders versus if you see ground, tanks, Banshee, Raven. Yeah, I mean, all of those are viable versus the ground, and I've seen very good players using different playstyle. And I've seen players who say that Marauders tanks are absolutely not doable in the matchup. I disagree. But some people say that, and Banshee, Raven are very good. Banshee are pretty good versus the ground. If you see when will you go to Nova, let me know if I can be available. I would love to share my experience. Okay. It's not you. Okay. Hey, this guy is lucky. Someone told me, hey, please tell me if you go into Nova. And by total luck, we decided to... Total luck, I mean, because... Nova. Blah 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 blah. And here there is also a question for the Guardians. Here I'm not 100% sure. Early game the ghosts do well. Late game the Goliaths tend to stack whatever you do, and some people, I don't know, want to fight them differently. No problem. No problem. But Music Master, it's not you that I'm talking on Discord, Polki? Or are you two different guys? Polki. Okay, let's go on. I think it's very difficult. You should beware with the tanks about the especially if they are micro. The Vipers are really your worst enemy, and yeah, there is not a good solution to that. Just don't overcommit to tanks. Spread them a lot, and yeah, just you do a couple. Do maybe 4 up to 5. But even if it's 3, maybe it's safer. Don't overcommit to that. You need other stuff versus the ground. And late game, the more the late game, the more Nova is Abathur will probably go ground versus you. AR versus you. Sorry. Tanks are scary. That's why I hate Swarm hosts. Yeah, but the Vipers solve the problem. Especially if you micro them, Vipers solve the problem for Abathur. Okay, Nova versus Alarak. One Marine line. I mean, one line, I'm not sure, but Marine's opener for sure. Marine's opener, great DPS and kills the hero very fast. That's very nice. Ghost versus Supplicant. This, I would say, not always. Maybe versus a lot of Supplicants. I'm not sure it's worth it to do, because Ghost requires upgrade for the triple tap and... I would say if many Supplicant, otherwise I'm not sure it's worth it. Ghost versus Supplicant, amazing. If he masses Sup, yes. Yeah, I'm not sure what the number you do ghosts. What number of supplicant you start doing ghosts? Is it 5, 7? I don't know. More, less? I don't know. But technically, triple tap is like you need at least 2 ghosts for the upgrade to be worth it. So triple tap is 3 shots. So you want at least 6 supplicant, I guess. At least 6. Yeah, 8. Yeah. At least 6, maybe 9. I don't know. It's better if it's a multiple of 3 because you have everything you need. Marauders, it's viable or straight to holo. Okay. But did I talk about... I didn't talk about destroyers here. Libs. Some bench libs, or you can even commit to it. What does Alarak do versus Novar usually? A bit of everything, right? Vanguards, Wrathwalkers. Because I haven't touched this for a long time, but right now I would say that I would do libs. I would do libs and quite a bit. What do libs are scared of? The Slayers, I guess, and the Wrathwalkers. Alarak should do that matchup. Yes, he should. But not by a huge margin. I would say Nova is favored. But I've played some good Alarak who are like a pain. If he micro the Slayers under your libs... The sum, I don't know. To me, Banshee libs is fine. Going air versus Alarak is nice. Or some Banshee into libs, maybe. Because I wouldn't even do... maybe some Banshee. Maybe some Banshees. I don't know. I would say holo and leaves because you need probably the holo for the Wrathwalker, right? Do we put some music? Why don't we hear anything? Okay. With the one line of Marine, maybe it was right. Could you also do Raven? Did I talk about Raven? Okay. I would say maybe into libs or into holo libs. Or holo and holo just versus Wrathwalkers. Oh no, holo are just here's the maybe. Maybe some Banshees, Marauders, and Raven. One Hellbat versus Vanguards. Really? It's good? It's good? And Vanguards. Yeah. Vanguards, the libs both works also well. I don't think libs are that good in that matchup. Yeah, but they are good late game in general. Or maybe I just write lib holo and it depends of the setup. It depends of what you do. Maybe you need both. But libs, are it's just like tanks. They tend to stack. They tend to stay alive along. If you micro them, if you precast them, they will just stay in the back, and he won't reach them. And I don't know. Late game leaves are just one of Nova best unit in general. Okay, one Albat versus Vanguard. Is it good? I'm not sure, to be honest. I'll remove it. Any comments on that matchup? Nova versus Iraq. If he does Vanguards, you want something in front to tank the tanks. It's good. Okay. Okay. Yeah. One Marine opener, no. But one line, yeah. I don't know, about 10 also. One line. But it also depends, but I would say like token multiplayer. No, I'd say about 10 please. The hagga for me is Banshee opener. Save money for Marines, then Libs. It's simple. Submarine into Libs. Yeah, but I don't think you understand the reason I do Marines here. Yeah, I think Destiny got it. Yeah, Destiny got it. Yeah, the Marines is just to kind of delay the mutas, and if he does mutas, win me time, because the Libs will beat the muta at some point, but too late. If you don't have Marines, it's just too late. So what I like about opening Marine is that it has a decent DPS versus the Dehaka hero. It will, and versus anything on the ground, and it still protect me versus the mutas. Because a good Dehaka, but you can go. I think this is good. I agree with that. I mean, you could open Banshees, but if you go straight to Muta, you're fucked. Opening one Libs, forcing him to go tier 2, then saving for Reigns. Which means if you start to do Muta, you will have money saved for a decent amount of Reigns. Yeah, but I don't think Muta Marines are not Lib Banshee. Sorry, one Banshee. What you know that some Dehaka, you will see a Dehaka. If you go tier 2 and do one Banshee, some Dehaka will go straight to Mutas without any ground. And here you're screwed, even if you add Marines, because you have too many mineral invested in something that doesn't shoot air. It's 350. So I think it's safer to do like that. I think it's safer to do like that. Possibly Banshees, Raven. Oh no. I can add. Yeah, but Banshee. If I see ground, I add Banshees. But Banshees are good if he goes Hydra or any ground. I can write this like this. I can write it like this because I think you're right that Banshees are very good in the matchup. So I will say add Banshees versus ground, so that in that way you understand that you don't do Banshee if you're not like committing to ground. If he commits to ground, maybe. If he commits to ground. Up. Raven, hello. Maybe Raven, hello, as needed. Okay, happy with that? But Marines beat Muta and he needs to make an overload. No. The problem with Muta is that Marine don't beat Muta really that hard. It's really by a very, very slight margin. And if you commit to Marines, he gets the Fire Breath at some point and he will rape all the things. Or he just add an Ultra. And as he put the Ultra in the front, I mean, first of all, he will rape your Marine with Fire Breath. And then he will put just one Ultra in the front and the Marine will focus the Ultra. And then he put the Muta in the back. So Muta are very, very dangerous in that matchup. You should not underestimate it. But maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't know. But I think you underestimate the strength of the Muta. I don't know if you played versus good players, but they can really fuck you up with Muta. Usually a couple of roaches into Mutas, he's very hard to control from Nova. Exactly, the Marine gets destroyed later on. That's the point. The moment he gets breath. Exactly. Thank you, Destiny. You're reading my mind. I always force him to go Muta. I don't know why it works. Yeah, maybe because you play random people and random people are not always good. He should do that. Okay. Okay, let's go on. Oops. Alarak, where I am? So Marine. Okay. I think this is good. Any comment for Nova versus Dehaka? We haven't talked about Artenis, but I think but this is the most important. I mean because this is the most standard build. Possibly if you Ghost versus Account versus Rivers. Well, versus Rivers, I don't know. Even possibly if you Ghost versus Account. Possibly tank. Tanks, it really depends if you can synergize with your ally or not. They're not good versus Artenis. It's just like if you can stack them at some point and you need them for other waves, for the leaks, or for. I mean, imagine they're pushing into you and you have a ground stick of push. You add tanks, you stack them at the nexus, and then you push back. Possibly tanks and libs, but it's not like good versus Artenis per se. Versus Mass Phoenix, Marine, Goliath with Sun. Okay. But in the Mass Marines... but are you sure? Yeah, maybe. I mean, versus Tempest, the Marines also works very well. I mean... I'll write it like this, okay? Or Mass Phoenix. I'll write it like this. Marines works. I'm not 100% sure, but pure Marines can lose that. Yeah, I think it's a very, very close fight. I think I've seen it both ways. I've seen Mass Marine beating Mass Phoenixes, and I've seen the opposite. So it's a close fight. With Ryan Raven, it's more than okay. Okay. I never tried the Raven, to be honest, versus Phoenixes. It dies very fast because it's light, but yeah, I guess at some point the missiles is worth it. I can write it like this. Oh no, I will like before maybe. Oh, Mass Phoenix. I will write it with a question mark because I haven't tested it and I'm not sure. But I wrote Liberators here versus Mass Phoenix. Funny. Maybe like this. What do you think? Because the lips are also nice. With one Raven it's more than okay. So like greens, a few Goliath and one Raven. Alright, phrase it differently. I will phrase it differently. Mass. No. Because Marines kill Tempests, but versus Mass Tempest you need some Goliath. And I'll still put it with a question mark because I haven't tested it. Okay, what do you think about this phrasing? I'm late with the messages. Libs are such an investment though. Yes, it's such an investment. I need to commit to it for it to work. You need like 5 libs or even more. I'm not sure. To be honest, you're right. Libs in a row from front to back turned off anti-ground. Works well again. Mass Phoenix can be okay. I'll write it in a. I think I'll write everything in. I write it in a different way because I'm not sure about the libs to be honest versus the Phoenix. I'll write everything that I wrote here, I'm not sure. I wrote a maybe. I never tested the Goliath. Maybe. I never tested the Goliath, I never tested the Ravens, and Liberator I've tested it but a long time ago. And it was working, but as you said, it needed some commitments. Okay, let's go. Yo, but I'm just a fish pretending to be a god with 500 1v1 game with Nova. That's not too much. Artemis is a good matchup, we don't need to overcomplicate it though. Yeah, true. True, let's go on. No, I mean, your help. I'm not. You see, I'm not taking what you say as golden gold bar. As I put a maybe versus everything you told me that I think could be interesting. I just like to have ideas. And I take it like this. And if I'm not sure, but to be honest, yeah, the Raven I doubt it. All those 3 things I doubt it. Maybe the Goliath is the more. But I guess at some point the Raven, the missiles is worth it. But the difficulty with the Raven also is that it's very leak sensitive, and it asks you to do a lot of micro if you. Well, I'm lost. You need to keep the missile for your wave if you have leaks, and that requires the micro. Okay, I'm lost. Where I am Nova versus Artemis. Haka, we talked already. Phoenix. Artemis is a good matchup, yeah. Phoenix, benches, Goliath. Okay, this I changed a bit my build. I sometimes open with Holo. Into air. No. I would say Holo vs ground. Benches versus adepts. But you're very scared of the air. I don't think this works anymore, right? It has been patched, right? Does someone have this information? I think it has been patched. You cannot do it anymore. Let me see if I find the information on the Discord. EMP Phoenix. Someone talked about this. Last time someone talked about this, it was in beginning of 2004. So maybe I can just look at the patch notes. This is 1st April. Would it be a patch against for Phoenix or for Nova? I don't even know. For Phoenix, I would say. Phoenix, Carrier, Cost Reduction, Colorado, Conservator, Interdictor. Ok. For Azul. There's not that many patches. Nova Heavy Siege Tank, Raven Tab 2 reduced. I'm in 2023 right now and I still haven't seen a patch about that. I'm pretty sure you cannot anymore, but I have a doubt, to be honest. Phoenix. That's very, very important in the matchup. Very, very important. I'm in 2003 now. Raynor Statement, Zagara. Tychus Cannonball. Nova. 2002 now. I haven't seen a patch about it. Did I? Am I stupid? Because you could do it at some point. Don't patch notes. Fixed Kerrigan tumor. Special Pegasus no longer state. Voilà, bureau. No longer state if it reveals borrowed units. But it was a bug, so I guess it doesn't count. Triple tap cost reduced. Okay, if you, I don't find anything about that, so you don't know. Okay, I will just go on with it. I will just write a question mark, I guess. I don't remember, but it's very, very important because you used to be able to like disable Nova Phoenix very efficiently. Yeah, I don't see anything about it. And it's extremely important. I don't know why I don't know this. Into Holo, okay. Possibly bio. Possibly bio? Possibly bio? I don't think so. Holo just destroy everything. Ravens, it's definitely a good unit in the matchup. Tanks, yes. Libs, yes. Okay, yeah, I agree with everything here. Nova versus Horner, Goliath, yeah. More Goliath. Nova Shotgun versus Ground. Ravens versus Mass Reapers. Okay, yeah, I agree. Any comments on Nova versus Horner? Mass Goliath. That's it. Yeah, I'll write the mass instead if it's not clear. Carax. Yeah. I have nothing to add. Goliath, yeah. And spread them a bit. That's right, that's a good point. Spreaded. Okay. Versus Carax. Any comments? Yeah, the fire bombs, the strike fighters. There's also the Hellions oil that is annoying if you have too many Goliath. Any comment on Nova versus Carax? That's it. Okay. Nova versus Kerrigan. Ghost just buy you time just for the tempo, but full air is what will win you the game. Anything you put on the ground is useless versus Kerrigan late game, I feel. You shouldn't start to try to fight the Ultralisk. I don't know, I would still do something like this. Start with 2 Ravens. No matter what he does, you blow it up. I'll test. But you have nothing for the hero herself? Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. You have the turrets, I guess. Because very spreaded Hydra can beat 2 Ravens, I think. And 2 Ravens are very expensive. For the price of 2 Ravens, she does like 12 Hydralisks. And very spreaded 12 Hydralisk, I don't know. Maybe it works, I don't know. I have to test. Yeah, Banshee versus Hydra. You blow 12 Hydra with Nova Shotgun, so you're against that idea. So what do I do? You told me you start with 2 Ravens. Ah, if you add 2 Ravens if he goes ground? No. No, Destiny. I'm sorry. You told me different thing. I don't get what you're saying. What do you? What's your point about Ravens in the matchup? Can you summarize it like in one message? Need many Ravens to cover well-placed mutas. I can. Yeah, but it works late game. It works late game. Where I am. Yeah, I should have precised that add Raven versus Mass Air. The libs will handle the muta. So if he goes if he goes Ultra and Muta, it's easy. Just libs, kill everything. Late game. I can imagine that a mixture of benches and a few libs, a lot of Raven, a few ghosts. No, I think the benches are really dangerous here. I would actually precise that's only versus Mass Hydra. Because the good thing about libs is that it can fight both air and ground. So imagine you have imagine you have an air leaks, you're screwed. Always open with 2 ravens. I'll try, I don't know. Issue. I'll try the... No, the benches are dangerous. I only do it if he really masses the Hydra. If he masses the Hydra... I mean, if he goes a lot of Hydra, I add benches, but if he goes Mutas... no, I think it's clear. Goes into mass libs, yeah. Into... Yeah, the full air, it's full air. Goes into full air, quoi. Into mass libs, add ravens and benches. I'm sorry, listen, it's hard to read like all those different messages. Please try to regroup them. Because sometimes some people talk in between messages, so it's not always easy to follow. Those turrets bomb, just destroy everything Kerrigan build. If he goes Muta, you libs. Okay, we finish with Kerrigan? Maybe Marines. Like 1 line, I mean like 10. 1 line for me it's 10 because I always put them. Not in 2, you can start with Marauders. No, Marauders is the key here. So, Marauders, you can open with Marauders. You can deal with Marauders and the Shotgun of Nova with almost everything he has. Nova Shotgun. Oh, actually I forgot to talk about that here. Versus Lynx. And into Holo. Maybe 1-2 Banshee, maybe Marines. Or Marines if needed. Some Marines if needed. I like to start Marauders, Ghosts when he adds Mutas. 1-2 Ghosts versus Emperor Shadows. And Mutas, yes. I mean, Marines are technically better. I don't know. Yeah, why not? I don't know, Marines are more versatile. His meta are not very dangerous. I think I prefer Marine because he can fight more evenly every unit. He doesn't have a... I don't know about the Ghost versus Mutas. Oh, you always... Can you group your message, please? Each tank are key unit for me. I don't like Marine because of shadows. Yeah, that's true. You cannot overcommit to Marines. That's true. That's a good point, actually. That's why some Marine don't overcommit. I've wrote 10 before, I think. Don't overcommit. I'm typing with my left hand. Maybe 1-2 Banshee, a couple of bat into Siege Tank, yes, but I think this is central. This is already written into Holo Siege Tank. Into Siege Tank. You're right, actually. Siege Tank is more central than Holo. Into Siege Tank. And Holo, actually, I'm not sure I always do Holo. Do I always do? I'm not sure I do because he has links, he has cheap links. Maybe 1-2 Banshee, maybe a couple. Okay, the maybe I will put together. Maybe a couple Banshee, Hellbat, Holo. Because the holo, I'm not sure it's really useful. I mean, technically, versus a tank, you can snap stuff with the holo. I think I will just write into such tank. I will just add marines. Oh, some marines if needed, don't overcommit. And add Banshee, Hellbats. Add some Banshee, Hellbats if needed. The Raven could also tank versus Sky Fury. But I mean, this is all lights. Banshees also tanks well. Add some Banshees, Hellbats if needed. And what about the holo? There's tanks only, right? What do you use for? I mean, it's useful versus a lot of stuff. Add holo late game. I think this is closer. Use T. Name hell to holo. Is it corrected right now? At holo, it's fine now. Yeah, I don't really build it until it. Okay, so we agree on that. Use it 3 Nova versus Lynx. That's already written. 1-2 Ghosts versus Emperor Shadows. Or Muta, I would say. I mean, if it's only a couple Muta, I'll just add Lynx. But if there is more, heavy Muta. Because you cannot do too many Marines, you're right about that. So if you are too many, a couple. But he can be EMP'd, so yeah. But the problem of Ghost is that they can get EMP'd, so I'm not sure. Yeah, use them versus heavy Muta. He can pre-cloak his Ghost and EMP yours, so I think 1-2 is good. They are so far back. They snipe before he can EMP. No, but who is so far back? The Emperor Shadow or the Ghost? Your ghosts are back, but if he puts his Muta in the back, I don't know. I'll write a couple. I'm not sure about versus. I mean, you can do a couple. It's never too dangerous, but as he need Emperor Shadows anyway, I guess if he cloak his Ghost and they come close enough, he can. Maybe Ravens are better. Maybe, I don't know. But I would not write like do Ghosts. To me, it's a unit that is a bit dangerous in the matchup. Ravens, I add them here. Maybe Ravens. Okay, let's go for the next matchup. I would finish Nova and then I will stop, I think. I'm a bit tired already. And I'm not sure it's the best content. It's just I couldn't play today, so I did that instead. And I wanted to have that discussion with Firestorm, so. Nova versus Nova. Oh, no. This is outdated to me. Oh, this is outdated to me. Against Nova, it should be a Raven versus Raven matchup. You need to be extremely careful with spending mineral on Marauders Goliath. If you spend 2 less on Raven, you lose. It's just Ravens. I agree and disagree at the same time. To me, it's mostly Libs. To me, it's mostly Libs, but you add Ravens to counter the Goliath. But yeah, this is outdated. We agree. We all agree. Tanks. I mean, you can always add tanks late game depending on the leaks, but and on what you're fighting else. But it's an air fight. It's full air. So I usually open 1 Raven and then I go into Libs. But you can do also. I think I do that. That's what I do. I do 1 Raven into Libs. Ensuite, c'est add Raven vs Goliath or anything or ground or anything on the ground, right? Oh no, not anything on the ground. No, I think just Goliath to tank. And add Ravens vs my sleep. This is my build. And I will even remove the tank. Banshee versus Mass Bio. I mean, if he goes versus Mass Marine, maybe. But who does that? Okay, this is my thoughts. Oh no, please, Destiny. I need to, every time you write that many messages, I need to go back. I cannot watch it on my phone. I need to go to change my screen and to go back to all your messages. Please regroup them. I know it's Firestorm. It was you were red. Please, Firestorm, regroup your message. It's really annoying. You're the same color. I was disappointed. It's really just do like music before. He just wrote a nice paragraph. I mean, you don't need to do that long, but just at least make like 2 or 3 sentences in one. I'm gonna correct myself. Mirage do beat. How do you counter Mass Raven Basilic? Lip should lose in the long term with a few Goliath in the back against them, or am I wrong? I never lost with Massing Raven. Should try against Mass Sleep. I think you should definitely try Mass Sleep because to me Mass Sleep beats Mass Raven. But at some point, if there is really late game, like 20 minutes in, because Libs are pretty big unit and you can spread them, so they don't really fear the missile until very late game. Libs counter Raven definitely, but at some point if you see really mass Lib, you can add Ravens. The Libs just kill the Ravens, just as simple as that. The Ravens don't shoot air; they just have the missile, and then that's it. And for the Goliath, it's easy. You just add Ravens to tank for them. The Goliath will always attack the Raven because the Raven will be closer, and it will take forever to kill one Raven. If you add Goliath, just add Ravens until you have enough, and then you siege your Lips with a pre-siege if possible, and you will kill the Goliath easily. I'm pretty sure of this. I think it works better. Okay, I'll read your message now, Firestorm. We can call again if you want, but dude, this is painful. I mean, I don't care about small messages while I'm streaming. I'm not here to read your messages while I'm playing. But if we discuss, for me it's a bit annoying to read like a lot of small messages. If I play, I don't care. It's Raven into Libs. I'm gonna correct myself. My Mirage do beat Tempest without any Phoenix support if fighting at center. Okay, so it was close to what we wrote at first, right? So I said I go Phoenixes versus and you pushed me into changing it, so I'll change it back. I know. I think we agreed on that. Okay. But Phoenixes are better, right? I think Phoenixes are not bad versus Mirage, they're bad versus carriers. Yeah, a bit like this. Oops, what happened? I always blah 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 blah. I'm gonna correct myself. I still prefer Tempest and played the stack card, I think, on early. I just set up to 6 Tempests. I thought so too. 6 Tempests, huh? 6 Tempests is already for me. 10 minutes. But those Goliath, I would love to try that. Yeah, please try it. I'll show you. Maybe maybe you can find replays where I do that. I don't know. I'll show you with pleasure. So the precision with the how do you say, the rapid fire on the libs helps a lot. But basically the Goliath will never shoot at your libs if you have your Raven in front. And if they shoot at your libs, it means you don't have enough Ravens. Just put a couple in the front. They will just shoot at the Raven. It will take forever for them to kill it. And meanwhile, your Siege can stand behind and just siege and kill them. It works very, very well. I mean, very, very well. Nova versus Nova is a tough matchup, and it's always like very micro-intensive, and it's also it's like Lacus versus Lacus. It's very leak dependent. If you have a bit of leak, he will kill you with his Goliath. But that applies to the Mass Raven also. If you go Mass Raven and you have leaks, you're in deep shit, to be honest. Even more in deep shit than with if you go Mass Lips. So it's always a matchup that is very, very leak dependent. Maybe I should write that when it's applicable. Also, the Tigers versus Tigers is extremely leak dependent. I will write it. Tigers versus Tigers. Very leak dependent matchup. Up, and also Nova versus Nova, clearly. Nova versus Nova. Yeah, trying this strategy. It's also the Mass Libs is also more solid versus leaks, and that's something you should not ignore. Try it and tell me. How do you control Mass Raven? I answered that, but those Goliaths would have to. Okay, I read everything. Nice, and I read every Firestorm messages too. I think so. Up. Let's go back. Okay, well, I finished Nova, and then I go sleep. Oh my God, we have already. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Nova versus Nova done. Any comments? No. Tell me, music master, if you have some feedback. Where do I see this guide? I will put it on my Discord. But it's not an up-to-date guide. I'm updating it now. I'm updating it now, but it's still not updated. It's like basically the guide. Maybe I'd use it on your own risk, okay? If you want a guide that is probably that at least has a community behind it, go on the official Discord of the Direct Strike, you know. And here you go in the pinned message, and there is a guide here. There's a guide here, and if you want this one, I will put it on my Discord. But it's not always it's an old one. I mean, I found like weird stuff in it that it's like years old. Nova versus Nova is done. Nova versus Rainer. Raven Goliath tank. Yeah, I think to me it's at least early. Okay, any comment from? I'm pretty sure this one. Any comment on Nova versus Rainer? Because for me it's still up to date. Basically, don't go bio. You start with benches versus bio. Ah, yeah, that's also an opponent that could be nice. What I like about the Raven is that if he answers with Viking, I still have something to kill them. I have the what do you call it? I have the missile. Eventually the opener. Yeah, every other mech. I mean, the opener is not. This guide is not about opener. It's like about general strategy. Maybe it's good to open benches. I mean, every mech unit is good versus Rainer, and benches are winning the. If you want to open with it, it's fine. But just do one, right? Yeah, you need tanks, Goliath, benches. You need every mech unit. But yeah, maybe if he goes early. But I can ride because it's Banshee versus Bio. And what other units? Benches versus Bio. Goliath is versus air, of course. I should write that. The Hellbat I will not. Another general tank, of course. It might end up in a fight. Benches versus Bio. Maybe a couple Hellbat. Tank. What? And then I can remove that because I've. What's the mech unit I forgot? I didn't forget any mech unit. That's fine. Okay. Any disagreement for Nova versus Rainer? Okay, Nova versus Statman. Nova versus Statman. Marine plus some Banshee early. Ooh, yeah, but also Goliath pretty early, right? I mean, you can kill Bagari with... I mean, technically... Hellbats versus Bane and Lynx. I mean, technically the Marines are also very good versus the Lynx, but Bane mostly. I don't know. Most disgusting matchup by far. Yeah, it's not an easy match. It's not your worst as Nova. I will not call it as nasty as Abathur, but yeah, it's not a good matchup for Nova. A couple more Banshee versus Amphes, more Marines versus Lynx, Holo, or Mauer versus Trap, depending on maybe Siege Tank. Yeah, Siege Tank, careful. I will remove that. It's always maybe Siege Tank when you're playing Nova, but versus Statman it's one of the matchup here where Siege Tank are not very good. Okay, any comments here? The Raven can be also useful sometimes. Adding one is often annoying. Any comment? 3, 2, 1. Let's match up. I want to finish. Nova versus Stukov. It's Stukov, right? Yes. Nova versus Stukov. Marines or Goliath opener. Yeah, I've always opened Marine, to be honest. But recently I'm like, hey dude. Because when you have the opportunity to go full bio or full mech, it has a huge advantage. Is that your the upgrade is much less costly. If you have only mech, just upgrade mech then later on, and especially versus Sukov where upgrades are very important. And you need pretty early both of upgrade, the attack and the armor, because he has low damage output, at least if he goes bunkers. I think I'm not even sure I need marines, but marines are just your safety versus the I don't know. I think recently I've tried this opener and I never had a problem with it, but maybe versus a good player it doesn't work, I don't know. It's also much more solid versus a good Stukov which will go use volatiles. Yes. 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 Any comment on that matchup? You can use maybe Holo versus Apo, but Holo need to be microed in this setup because maybe Holo, but you need. But as he can do a lot of civilians, he can just issue micro. Holo. I mean, I would say Holo issue micro. Let's go. Alright, so versus Spreaded Nova Marines and Nova. Both also. Phoenixes. What Phoenixes? Ah, you're talking about another matchup. Win if I had 2 Zealots and 1 Immortal. Yeah. Alors, Artanis versus Nova. You think and Nova. Phoenix win if I had 2 Zealots and 1 Immortal. Why 1 Immortal? I never do Immortal in that matchup. Couldn't you just add Dragoons instead? Isn't that more versatile? Artanis versus Nova. Yeah, a couple is honor guard, so you don't do. It's already here the 2 honor guard. I mean, it could be 4, I guess. It's fine. Okay. Two Dragoon. I mean, the Immortals. Doing an Immortal versus Mass Marines, I mean, I don't. Maybe Dragoon instead. Do you need those upgrades? You cannot just go mass. You don't need mass. The Mass Phoenix build alone didn't work. You needed to add other units, and for the same price, you beat them. That's your point. Tell me if I understood wrong. Okay, Nova versus Stukov. I have no other comments. It's yes, I know. But you look my screen, right? I've changed the mass Nova build here. The Immortal shoots the Nova while Dragoon will also get lifted. Shoot lifted Marines. Ah, yeah, right. That's the point. So you need them. You cannot do without. But you need them. You cannot do without those. You tried. changing that with 3 more phoenixes. Okay. I'm tired. Let's finish that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 matchups to do. Then go to bed. Yeah, to kill Nova. No. But you cannot kill Nova with the Tempest? It make you lose a bit of tempo, but maybe it's more solid. Because you need a Tempest anyway. Whereas this thing, I'm not sure it's useful. And you know, you've tested something like in a vacuum. It's not always works like this. Tempest is the... Yeah, I use the Phoenix War, but... Okay. The Into Tempest also apply for the Max Phoenix build, so I will put it here. Okay, let's finish that. Nova. Nova versus Sukov, I have no comments. Versus Swan. Swan, I'm not sure. Here, I'm not sure neither. Maybe... it's also one matchup by which I like to go full mech. Goliath are actually pretty good too, and I use it's one of the matchup now. I'm not sure I like Bio anymore. I'll put a maybe versus anything that is Bio. Yeah, here is the build I do now. So I will do the opposite actually. I will put my old builds. Marines opener. A couple goes versus Vessel. 2 decoys each tank. So this is my old build. Accurate Tempest is of course better. Yeah. This is my old build. So Goliath opener is very important for one reason. You know why? Goliath or Marines opener are very important for one reason. You're scared. It's one matchup in which he can be very annoying with Wraith and Vessels. But versus the Thors, you still might need the decoy. I think like this. And or Leaves also, right? Leaves versus everything, almost. Any comments? Goliath opener into tanks. Maybe Ravens. The Light are very good to tank. Versus air. You can basically do anything you want in the matchup, I think. Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I like this.
Break the rules, beat the future, back to the roots, to remember, reach the sky, a new experience, an acid,
Couple ghosts to Goliath.
acid,
Ghost, how good versus Vessel? Ah, for the EMP.
acid, all night long, acid,
Yeah, why not? I don't know. Have no strong opinion on that one. Any comments? No? Okay, let's go for the next one. Nova versus Tychus.
acid,
I like to open with tier 3. And I just add my orders, which is what I need. I like these builds.
acid, all night long,
Okay, no comments. To me, it's the best strategy. Tychus start with 2 ghosts to force tier 2. Yeah, the ghost opener might be annoying. But the tier 3 opener is also good. Mikoing Shotgun Nova puts Tychus out of range. Then Marauders plus Lips. But smashing Marauders only could work as well as later starting adding Lips. Marauders are very vulnerable to Cannonball plus Revive plus the stun. Plus the boots. No, not the boots. Red Cell. Red Cell plus Revive. So Cannonballs... I don't do Marauders. I only do Marauders versus those units. I never do Marauders versus other type of units. I mean, they're not that good. I think you have a better value with Liberators. Late game Liberators will like rape Tychus because he won't even be able to approach them. So I don't want to retard my Liberator. But I agree with you that maybe I will the 2 ghosts opening to force tier 2 is actually gives you a lot of tempo. So I will write it because I think it might be good just to write the tempo. Liberators, Necrod Hollow. It's really a counter strategy because Sam counter Hollow and somehow Libs. Marauders and Ghosts counter Sam. Cannonball counter Marauders. So yeah, but if he go Blaze, he's weak. If I can force a Blaze, I'm also happy. But yeah, maybe 3. I don't know. I never tried, so I don't know. But the Ghost is not bad in the matchup early. It's just that they fade off when he's tier 3. He can just, or he can also add a Sirius just to. Yeah, Blaze is also nice to go against. I agree. If he go Blaze, it's just nice. I just had 2 Marauders and or just Libs. I mean, Blaze is not very useful. I lost my where am I? Blaze is not a good unit in the matchup, in my opinion. Tychus. Okay. Any other comments on that? Yeah, most people, but we're trying to do a guide that works versus also very good players. But yeah, most people go tier 2 when I see Ghost, and it can give you a tempo. Even if you add Blaze, it can give you tempo. Maybe I put a maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't really tested, but I feel it can be strong because I feel the fast tier 3 is sometimes usually open with tier 3, but also the good point about if you want to talk about fighting noobs or beginners, the good thing about going fast with tier 3 is that Tychus will almost always Takis will almost always, if it's a beginner or a random guy, he will always buy a second unit before knowing what you go for. So he will either go Cannonball blindly, either Nikara. In all cases, he will do something almost bad, or something you can counter. Because it's very rare that Takis say, "Hey, I don't know what that Nova is going for. I will wait." It's very rare. So you can also gain tempo and forcing bad direction, but by going faster tree. Okay, I'll put it like this. People, you can force early Vega. Yeah, that's the best case scenario. Okay, 2 more matchup and then I go. Okay. Nova versus Firesorm. Makes sense to me. I mean, more Ghost versus DT. Oracle into tank versus Stalkers. Yes, I agree with that. Raven also useful. Did I? Yeah. Any comment on that matchup? Did they patch Imba for a range already? Yes. Yes. It's -1 now. It's still a lot. It's still a good range, but it's not. I don't think it overranged the Nexus now, and that changed everything. Because before you could get a 4-minute win just by outranging the Nexus. Raven tank. But versus Stalkers, some don't do that. It's tank versus Stalkers. I can remove the into to signify that you can do that early game. What? D3DT, not Raven, sorry. I don't understand. So, what about the Raven tank? What are you saying? Raven tank, I can see it working versus Stalkers. But it's really dependent on his opening. But a lot of people will go Stalkers, but not everyone. Raven can be supported by those ruins if something goes wrong. Ghost is mostly versus air, right? Versus air and DT. Versus no, it's versus it's something specific also. It's versus Centurion, DT, and Oracles. Okay. It's mostly versus the Oracles, but I will put the Oracle first. But it's useful versus all of, and second versus the DT, and last versus Centurion. I don't see them often in the matchup. Okay, so it's a counter to something. I think yeah, tank Raven like this. It's nice. Yeah, but I've wrote this here and DA. Yeah, of course. Okay, what about that? Raven can be versus DT Zealot. Ravens are also nice. Versus DT. Yeah. Okay. But for what? Because of the turret are annoying for him? Because you can just add 2 Corsairs. The turrets makes him clump up and tank. Plus missile. I will put the maybe Raven tank opening here. And I'll test it. But I think it doesn't work versus... You need to be sure that he goes ground, because doing that blindly is kind of... I don't know, my Firesorm playstyle versus Nova is mostly based on DT and air. And I don't think that opening will be bad versus me. I don't play like that. Who is Andrei Tarkovsky? There's some reference I don't have here. I'll Google that. Ah, okay, he wrote the... no, he realized the movie Stalker. Okay. Okay, so what would you agree with that, guys? Maybe Raven tanks opening versus ground. Have you seen Firesorm? Have you seen good player doing that? Like very good player, top players? Because I never seen that, but the tank versus stalker is pretty nice. But the Raven I never seen. But if you've seen Shame doing that, I will put more emphasis into it. Shame raped me in his house, and after that it became kind of popular. Okay, but you're known to be a heavy stalker builder. I'm not. I play very differently than you, so versus me it won't work. But I will. I've wrote versus ground and I've wrote maybe, so I will test it. Lots of spreaded marine, ghosts, tanks. Okay, any other comment? Okay, I go to Zegara. Zegara, Hellbat, some Banshees, some tanks. I mean tanks, if pushing, no, some tanks. Don't overcommit to that, but Hellbat tanks. I would put the tanks before. It's really key. Okay, some benches. Okay, any comment on that? Okay, 20. Weirdly, I had some very good matches against Zegara with mostly air. Yeah, I think it can work. I mean, Nova hard controls Zegara, so you can do a lot of different stuff. You can do mostly air if you need it. I mean, Libs, Banshees, and Ravens work. Can't you beat Jack with just tanks? Yeah, maybe, but if you go late game, Aberration will rip everything at some point, so... The more you go late game, the more you should transition to Banshees, but yeah. Tanks work, but the Hellbat really helped them to stack. You need a front line. Otherwise he would just... I mean, if he's bad, he will just do hunter killers and roaches, and you will beat them just with tank. But if he's good, he will add links bane aberrations, and then tanks alone don't work. Except if you can stack them, but that's kind of a. I mean, in some games you can say, hey, this game will be push. I will just do tanks so that they will stack at the bunker, and then we will push again with that, and then you don't need a front line. Your ally will do that front line for you. But if you don't, you need a Hellbat. Tanks don't shoot up though. Why would you need to shoot up versus Zagara? Okay, can we don't see, can we see the unit on the lake you sent? Yes, we can. No, we cannot. But yeah. Rating info, combo rating. Yeah, we cannot see the unity did, right? Okay, you have it. So this is the 5-minute mark. 2 Siege Tank, 2 Raven. Okay. And can you show me the 10-minute mark? So not 1 Raven. The strategy is made by Shame is 2 Raven. Uh, 10 minutes libs. Thanks to Raven. Yeah. You went to libs. Libs are probably good, but you're a mass stalker guy. So you had a very specific build, I guess. Did I write libs in my guide? I think it's good. Libs late game versus air. Or ground, maybe. I mean, technically versus the stalkers, it's not very good. And what about that line? I'm not sure it's true. You did 8 stalkers. Then you went what? Void Rays? So he wow, okay, very interesting. When was that game? Yeah, it's a bit old. I'm not sure if the meta is still the same, but okay, so basically Firestorm sent me the replays of an in-house he did versus Shame, and Shame went at 5 minutes. He had 2 tank, 2 Raven. At 10 minutes, and Shame raped Firestorm. They have like a lot of difference in mineral killed. At 10 minutes, he had 3 Liberators, 3 tanks, 2 Raven, and game end, he did some Marine finally. 6 Marines, 5 Liberators, 3 tanks, 3 Ravens. Wow, okay, interesting. Interesting. I'll maybe change a bit my build. Abba is Air Commander. I agree with matchup. Oh, sorry, I read the message too late. No, I don't know what you're talking about. I agree, it's matchup specific. That can shoot down. Late game it's void, you need to stop that. Yeah, late game it's void, but versus void I don't know what to be honest, I think Marine and Ghosts are still the way to do it. I mean Libs, maybe, I don't know, maybe Libs, but very late game. Libs is kind of thing you need to commit a lot for it to work, right? I mean, you do 1 Lib, it does nothing versus Mass Void, but if you have a lot with the AoE, it does something. Maybe Raven tanks opening versus. Maybe Raven tanks opening. I removed the versus ground because apparently it works versus everything, but versus air, I mean. But he did Raven tanks, and then when he saw your air, he had the Marines, right? Or what happened? No, at 10 minutes he had 3 libs. No, at 10 minutes he had 3 libs versus your 6 Void Droid, and he was beating your air with 3 libs and 2 Ravens. Yeah, Marine goes Raven, but you don't do libs versus Voids, right? Yeah, it does. And if you get libs with raid mode on top of all, it's over. Yeah, not first. Yeah. So it's late game investment. That's what I thought. So you need to gain the tempo with Marines Ghosts. And maybe I need to rewrite this. Maybe Raven tanks opening into. Maybe Raven tanks. That's one thing. You can open that. Then you need to adapt to what you see. If you go air, I mean, so what you're saying is that maybe versus pure ground, can we do without Marines? I don't know. Voids will eat them if you're not wasting the time of on Marines. Yeah. Maybe Raven tanks opening. This is the core unit that you can use, I think. But I don't think this opening works. I think this opening works versus ground only. You did ground only at first. And I don't know. Yes, ground. A lot of spreaded Marines. Okay. Ghost is specific. Tanks versus Stalkers. The Raven is useful versus tanks? Versus Stalkers? Yeah, maybe. Into libs. So maybe versus air. Marine Ghost Raven libs. So this is the core. We can open Marine tanks or Marines or both. That works. Then Ghost is specific. Tanks is adding more tanks is specific. Then you go into libs. You add more of that if you're versus air. Maybe decoy. Maybe decoy late game. Raven, we talked about it already. Right? But Raven also is versus ground, right? I don't know how to write that. Raven versus Zerker just to tank a bit for the tank, yes. Yeah, they take the shots. But they're help versus ground and air, so. So you start either with that, either with that, either with both. Then you add this according to need. And then you go into libs. And you just add more of that if needed. I don't know. To me, it's okay. Do you have any feedback? And Zagara, I think I finished too, so it's fine. To me, we finished. Do you have any feedback, guys? I'm sorry I didn't play today. I couldn't play today, so I decided to do that. You probably like it less based on the fact that there are like much less per people than usual. But if you have any feedback about that, please tell me. You can also write me about that if you think about something later. I'll put that on the Discord. It's very updated. Check if you want a guide. Go check the official one. It might be better. But you will find at least what we discussed today. I'm in my opinion for a wins late game, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, that's probably true. I don't feel great about the libs, to be honest, due to DA plus voids. Yeah, but Shame did it, right? And you did DA versus him. But it's true that versus air, I don't know. I'll write a question mark. He was using lips for your ground or not? Or your air or not? What he was using? What does Shame was using? Yeah, maybe libs versus... I mean, very late game, I feel the libs will at some point. But the range of the AoE will do something, but the range is kind of annoying. And at some point you... Yes, correct. So correct what? He was using... I'm sorry, but there's a slight delay when you talk. What is correct? The fact he was using lips versus air? But I was dead at that point, to be fair. I got so shocked by Raven. Never saw it versus Fire before. I remember this match and my feeling is like... and I'm feeling like it was yesterday. Okay, so... He was using... What he was using his lips for? That's my question. He was pushing into Takus. Ah, yeah. But he did them at 10 minutes already, right? Three Liberator at 10 minutes. I'm not sure how strong he was pushing, but you don't do 3 Liberators. That's the most army value. It's if you look at the game at 10 minutes, the most army value in general is Liberators. And I don't think he would do that if it was like very risky. I lost from the start, he raped me. I can see it to the replay if you want. Yeah, if you have it, and we can have a quick look right now. I will leave soon, to be honest. I wanted to finish at 11 at most. But if you have it right now, right here, we can look it now. If you don't, we look that another time. It's fine. I don't care. Can you put it in Discord? Yeah, can you put it in Discord? I have it in 1 minute. Okay, cool. Okay, so I wait. I will watch this. I will. I guess he was thinking about the Discord of my channel, but it's fine here too. It will attract question that you might need to answer. You know I have a Discord for my stream, right? Yeah, then go there. I mean, you can. It's fine where it is. It's just that people might ask you question or make fun about you, the way you played, or I don't know. You might have some reaction to it. Okay, I'll so you are so you are here versus here, Shame. I'll just be slow and cast the game normally. So Nova versus Abathur. Here we have Tychus. He was pushing into Tychus, and here player 5. It's Tychus. It's possible. It was Tychus versus Tychus. And here we have Alarak versus Setman. Okay. Ah no, it's Gary mid. Ah no, we still don't know who is mid. But it's player 5, right? It's Ara. Here. Tychus versus Tychus. Okay, so Tychus versus Tychus. Yeah, Tychus versus Tychus. Libs is very, very nasty, right? I overdid on Zealots, expecting Marines. Expecting Marines, okay. Marines are not that good versus Zealots. I think the DTs are probably better, DT Oracles. Sorry, can we let's just start again, I was not confused. I'll put it on faster, but I want to start from the start. So you open Zealots, you open Nova, tier 2. And here we go. Stalkers. I mean, you open Stalkers. I feel ashamed of how I played back then, just saying like, yeah, that's why I'm saying you don't have to put that replays on the, you can delete the replays on the general Discord. You don't have to put it here if you don't want people to judge you on that. But I think it's fine, but probably nobody would do that, but Tychus, Statman here. So Statman will have a Tychus Leaks, and Tychus versus Statman have similar build. And that's a good point for Yonk. That's a strength they have. So even if Tychus push, it will be hard for to push into Statman. And tank opener plus shotgun Nova right from the start, right? Yeah. So he's put very, very on the side. A lot of Zealots. What's happening here? Okay. APM just to laugh a bit. It was Massam back in the day. Oh shit! What the fuck is that build? Okay. 2 ravens. Just a second. Let me see how he uses his ravens. I should actually play it normal. We have the time, right? We have the time. I don't have to go sleep right now. You want the sound of the game? I'm tired of this electronic music, to be honest. Sorry. Okay. I will not stop right now. Okay. So I want to know how we use it. So we tank early. He used that for the leaks. But two Raven versus that many Stalkers? I don't understand. And it's not that strong here. But the cloak is strong versus Firesorm because it forced kind of the T2. What is Shame doing? Shame is actually trolling. 2 Ravens? Yes, trolling. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's a good thing you removed it from the Discord. Just It's an old game. I mean, I'm ashamed of how I was playing like 1 year ago. I think 1 year ago I was a noob. And hey, no upgrade on those links? No, there is. Tier 3? Okay. So the first round was not impressive. Super Gary fast versus Arawak is pretty standard. Smoker would say yes. Yes, trolling. Okay, and here you didn't manage to reach them. So here they're already very good, right? Wow. But can I just see again that fight? It was very good. Because here when I watch this, what does he target with that? Here when I watch this, I'm like, hey, Firesorm will rape him. Bam bam. And you blinked, but out of the range. And the Nova shotgun, okay. Plus the wow, okay, wow, wow, impressive. I wouldn't have expected that. Look, the missiles. Yeah, but the missiles were on the Stalker or the Centurion? I thought it was on the Stalkers, but maybe I didn't see one. On Centurion? But Centurion are not a threat to Nova shotgun. I mean, why would you even do that? But it's one of those games where you start to push and then it's very hard for the other team to come back. Dark accounts. Why? Ah, for the Ravens? I don't know. Okay, they don't do much. We will never know because they won't reach the wave. 3%. Mm-hmm. Siege early. Can I just see that again? I don't know how he managed to siege that early. How can he do that? Ah, there was some Centurion already. There was some Centurion. Your Centurion in front. The fact that your Centurion gets stuck in front. Your Centurion, they're not in front, but as they're not in the back, when you fight Gary, your Stalker stays in the back. So the Centurion come in front and they give an opportunity for the siege to tank. For the tank to siege. Yeah. And wow, it's the whole time. Everybody was playing bad. But for the Anorak, I mean, tanks are a good Nova unit tanks are a good Nova unit that it works almost everywhere. There is almost any commander. It's always useful to have just some in the back who would sack. Especially when they have range, but here they have range. When he did range, I want to check that for very fast. I'm at 8 minutes. I'll just put it very fast to see when he did it. I'm always curious to know the timing. Come on. Upgrade, it's what upgrade? It's this one, right? He doesn't do another upgrade. Ah, okay. See, he just did it. He didn't went fast yet. So at least 3 tanks. Okay, 3 tanks and he did it. Okay. And then he's fighting mostly on Iraq. Look at those. They stayed all the way. They survived that much. And now Libs. So yeah, here the Libs were probably to push. I don't see them. I mean, he really started doing Libs when he was already strongly pushing. It's not to fight you. And it's true that Libs versus Stalkers are kind of bad because you can blink them. And but here is yeah. Okay. Why not? Why not? Alex going air. Probably also in response to Nova's leak. Wrathworkers also. Probably this is in response also to Nova's leaks, I think. And he was willing to stack them. And it's kind of working here. You guys stacking together. But Sam uses his grenade on the leaks here. So he will lose this fight. But the Wrathwalkers is really a good move from Skippy, I think. Even though I don't do them versus that man. They're bad, but he can stack it. And it's good versus his leaks. And his Setman haven't done a lot of his Setman hasn't done a lot of links. And links is really the hardest counter to Wrathwalkers. Oh, that was a bad siege. And now he's just committing to Libs. And Libs here also have the ability that to fight the destroyers. Here, you see? Yes. So it kind of it's kind of really useful here for other reasons than fighting for Azun, I guess. I'm not sure he does the links the Libs for you, but it's pretty ballsy to do that many Libs versus Farazan, I think. That early, at least. And the Sam is very good to push into. They were a bit lucky with the... This matchup is pretty Statman favored, and with the leaks it was much more easy for them. I mean, Nova leaking into Tychus is good, and but that's why you should maybe have gone air. Because I don't think there is a build that fight anti-air that is also good versus Tychus. Here you were like helping him to find the perfect build that fight both. Even though it's not like perfect, but it's easier for him. Okay. But yeah, Tychus leaking into Alarak is good. I mean, Alarak is good versus Tychus, but this Alarak went Wrathwalkers because Wrathwalkers are bad versus him, so he kind of forced a bad reaction. And Nova pushing into Tychus was good for Nova. They were a bit also lucky for the... Okay, now more Void Rays. But can we say that again? The Void Ray fight? So here he added Cannonball, which is... Here its RL is much better than DME. The fact he added Cannonball... Back in the time it was pretty new. Okay, let's look at this fight. Yeah, but they don't... Yeah. You don't have enough for them to do whatever. But he added some links, some marines in reaction to your... What did he? Yeah. He added some marines in reaction to your Void Rays. Which means that he feel that his libs... First, maybe there can be two reasons. First of all, he thinks that his libs are not perfect for that, for the anti-air. And second is that he wants his lib to fight the ground. I mean, here you were mixing your army was mixed with Tychus, so he wants his lips on the ground, and for that he needs the marines to shoot the air. Skippy defending, but here the Wrathwalker versus the Lynx. Did he add Lynx? Yeah, he added Lynx. That's a very good move from Setman. That's what you should do here. Lynx are good versus the PF and the Wrathwalkers. And PF and Wrathwalkers were kind of the only combination that would allow top team to come back into the game. And here they didn't. Thanks to the Lynx, I would say. It's not that big of a game. I wouldn't say you got raped, but yeah, at no point you threatened him. But yeah, it's also true that Nova is good versus the Firesorm, right? I mean, he had a favorite matchup at least until the late game. And the Cannonball. Yeah, the Cannonball were maybe added. Maybe it was so back in the times that I don't know if he added Cannonball to counter Sam or if it was for the Wrathwalkers. I don't know. Because back in the day, I don't think it was very popular to go... to go Cannonball versus Sam. I think it's one or... This was what, in 2003 you said? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. GG. So to finish the stream, I will just go back to my table and I will complete capture the net. Okay. So what did we learn from Firestorm mistake? January 2003, I started playing Horizon a few weeks before that game. Okay. Yeah, so there is also that. I won't shame, but I was playing very bad also back in the day. So where's my document? Okay, here. Nova versus Horizon. So the libs, yeah, possibly libs. I think it's right, and here I'm really not sure. No, I think it's right. It's fine. Like I wrote it. It's not like the. I mean, it was the center of. It was in the center of the shame strat, but it was not in the center of my strat. My strat is like possibly leave the game, but like if you need it for other wave maybe. And but I'm still unsure, but because I think mass libs very late game is probably the only way you can fight Frozen because you at some point anything on the ground with a lot of but I think I think actually it's not. I will remove the question mark because I think late game you need that because the late game Air Horizon with all the Corsairs, with the Storm, with the what do you call it, disruption web, are very 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 helpful, and they can make all your marines very bad. Thank you for today, Basic. See you. Take care, guys. By the way, your voice is lagging. Oh, you should tell me if there is a problem with the sound. Is it better now? Is it better now? Tell me if there is a problem with the sound. It is, okay, yeah. Yeah, it's very simple to solve. I just cannot, I have no way to know it. I have no way to know it except for you telling me. So tell me. Thank you, Music Master. See you next time. Okay, so I will end it here. I really think that late game, I would say it again. I really think that late game Nova versus Forazun is really tricky for Nova. And that anything you put on the ground with the disruption web from the Corsairs, they can make any ground useful. Disruption web, Corsairs, Oracles, DTs, and Void in the back destroy any kind of bio. Anything on the ground. So I think you have to go Libs late game. So I will keep it like this. But not as early as Shane did. Okay. So good evening, guys, and I hope you see you. I don't know when I can stream again. Maybe I will do some a few days of casting replays. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah. See you later. Good evening.